everyone, and welcome to the Code Reptile channel, and today we're going to be discussing the GitHub Copilot, a neural network from GitHub, aka Microsoft, that supposedly should make our lives easier by writing code for us and acting like an autocomplete but on steroids. Now, the GitHub Copilot isn't really brand news. It has been around for quite some time, but it didn't really draw much attention simply because it was released during that AI movement where every single company decided that they need to throw as many AI things into the wild as possible. And so even though there were a lot of really cool AI instruments that could do their job really well, most of them didn't really do much in terms of really solving everyday problems at work or just everyday life, simply because they were released as just technology demonstrators and prototypes and that kind of thing. Something you'd launch, have absolutely amazing fun for like 10 minutes and never open again. And when I first saw GitHub Copilot, I thought, hey, well, it's probably the same thing simply because, well, surely it can be like really writing code for you. And boy, was I wrong. And right now in this video, I want to show you just how overpowered the GitHub Copilot is if you use properly, and just in general show you why you should use it. You should definitely download it and give it a shot, and how you can actually save you tens of hours every single week in writing code. So let's start our little tour. Well, first things first, what is the GitHub Copilot? And lucky for all of us, it's not a new editor that's no one ever going to use, but rather an extension that you can just plug into your favorite IDE and it'll work. I personally work with the JetBrains pack and it works seamlessly with all their IDEs. However, before the installation, please note that what you're downloading isn't the neural network itself, but rather a client, and the neural network itself is located on the Microsoft servers, which means basically two things. Because your code will be continuously sent to the clouds and the answers will be coming back, you can't use this without internet connection, which is a little bit of a bummer, but okay. And the second thing is actually very important. If you're planning to use the GitHub Copilot for work, you have to check your company security policies, because by using the GitHub Copilot, you will be effectively sending the secret code that your company owns to someone else's cloud, and that might be prohibited. But if there are no restrictions on that part, you can just head on to this page. We can start the trial period, which currently is 2 months. And then if you're using JetBrains, you can just head to the plugins page, install it, reload the IDE, and link it to your account, and you're pretty much good to go. For software of other companies, the installation process is very similar, and you can find detailed instructions in the links below. Once you have finished the installation process, it might seem at first that nothing has changed. That's because the GitHub Copilot works pretty much like an autocomplete, and you have to start typing for it to give you suggestions. Once you actually start typing, it'll highlight the suggestions in a gray font, and sometimes there will be more than one suggestion, and you can cycle through them using Alt plus brackets. Once you have decided what suggestion you want to use, you can just press Tab, and it'll insert the text right into your editor. Now, there is also a way to ask for suggestions explicitly. You can use the GitHub Copilot tab, but I rarely use it, as if it doesn't give you a suggestion right away, it probably means that it doesn't really understand what you're trying to do, and so the suggestions on this page will be not very accurate to what you're trying to do. However, it might be interesting if you're new to some language or a framework, as you can use it as a library of different examples on what you can do, or just see different coding styles. So if you are a beginner, this page might actually be interesting for you. What you can also do is you can use comments to kind of hint the GitHub Copilot what you're trying to do. For example, if I want to create a program that does bubble sort, I can just write a comment, say bubble sort, and then it'll start giving me parts of this program that'll do bubble sort. And as you can see, I can write a pretty large program in just a matter of seconds. And that's pretty much all you have to know how to use a GitHub Copilot. Now, obviously the GitHub Copilot won't write all the code for you, but it's still a very nice instrument to have, especially given the 2 months free trial and pretty much no learning required to start, so I highly suggest that you do check it out. And I think its functionality will gradually increase over time, and you'll become better at understanding what we are trying to achieve in our programs. And as of right now, it's already very, very good, and it did allow me to save a lot of time, especially when I'm trying to write some repetitive code. What I do think it lacks is the ability to edit the already existing code, because sometimes you have, you know, pretty much repetitive code and you change one part, and sometimes I just wanted so much to just go through all the other parts of the code and just edit the similar changes to those parts, but unfortunately you can't do that. It can only add new code. But I think this functionality will eventually come, and I'm really hoping and looking forward to it. But that's pretty much all for now. Thank you so much for watching till the end of the video, and see you in the next one. Bye!